I won't visit Dogland and run with the power pups. Got to love their style and how they never, ever, ever give up. Who loves dogs? Who loves dogs? We rise to any challenge, and no one here is average. We are the power pups. You know we'll ever, ever, ever give up. Dogs, dogs, you love dogs. Dogs, dogs, you love dogs.
Welcome back to the adventures of Power Dog in Dogland.
And this Tree Madness episode rhymes with pine.
9! Wow, 9 episodes into season 3 has me pining for adventure.
So is Power Dog, and we're picking back up after Power Dog had a big moment with his dad, Dogwings, where he learned about how everybody, even heroes, maybe especially heroes, have worries.
That's right. And now Power Dog has a new tool for dealing with worries. He has a magic worry stone.
Yep, he's building a toolkit to leash up the worries. And when he needs reminders, he has something to hold on to.
I love that. And I love to have a special rock in my pocket too.
Yeah, me too. Our whole family loves special rocks.
Man, that's the truth. Hey, Hank, may the forest be with you.
May the forest be with us all.
Inside Power Dog's home in Lictopolis, Power Dog and his dad, Dogwings, had just had a pretty serious talk. Dogwings had given Power Dog a smooth green stone hanging from golden twine. It was galactic green jasper, and Dogwings had taught Power Dog to use it when he felt like worries were making him feel anxious and scared. Power Dog rolled the smooth stone between his paws, feeling its cool surface slide against the skin of his paw pads. Talk back to your worries, he reminded himself, practicing what his dad had just taught him. You don't have to believe everything the worries tell you. Then there was a knock on the bedroom door. Tuffy peeked in, looking a little nervous himself, and said, sorry to interrupt, but Roger's here, and he's brought 2 more dogs from school. Back in the front room, Professor Chiroptera was scribbling notes and examining charts on scrolls that he'd unrolled on the table, and the raccoon twins were curled up in a big, cushy chair together, both writing in the same journal with opposite paws and whispering to each other almost inaudibly, mouths barely moving and eyes shining with curiosity and wonder. Roger was standing just inside the door, and he'd brought Lyndon, the golden retriever, and Snowspeeder, the zippy husky, with him. Snowspeeder was quietly murmuring to Lyndon, "Big, comfy room with a fireplace on the far wall, and there's a huge table in the center covered with maps and scrolls. That's where the professor is." Lyndon nodded and carefully felt for the edge of a rug, then smiled confidently. "Thanks, Snow." Dogwings smiled and greeted them. "Well, hey there. Make yourselves at home, please." Roger nodded, smiled, and announced, "Lyndon and Snowspeeder are the students who will join the field trip portion of the tree class. And we come with a most excellent resource that the Meowie Council archivist found." "Oh?" Professor Chiroptera looked up eagerly. Roger brought a rolled-up scroll wrapped in thin brown paper and twine out of his backpack. His eyes gleamed as he untied and unrolled the large document on the table next to Professor Chiroptera's charts and notes. "Oh, it's a map!" exclaimed Power Dog as he drew nearer to it. He noticed that the parchment smelled like the oldest books in the college library. And he noticed faint green symbols shimmering under the flickering light from the fireplace, as if the map itself might have some life in it. After a pause for everyone to get a good look, Roger said, they had only recently uncovered this long-lost map, written in what the Meowians are calling tree tongue, It is thought to be an ancient language of the trees themselves. Tree tongue? Questioned Dogwings. I've never heard of that in all my years. Well then, you will appreciate that your own partner, Mom Slice, was the one to explore, investigate, and help discover it, said Roger rather cheerfully. Power Dog felt his heart skip. Mom Slice, his mom, had helped discover an ancient tree language? The golden calling in his chest seemed to pulse stronger, as if responding to this news. His paw found the galactic green jasper, and he pressed it gently. Easy, he told his racing thoughts, one thing at a time. As the map lay open, Power Dog felt it was hard to take his eyes away from it. As he drew even closer, it seemed as though the symbols weren't just symbols. Each one seemed to hum with colors he could hear, faintly. A swirl of violet buzzed like a distant flute. A jagged green line crackled with a snap of electric music. And a brown feathering border thrummed like a soft, faraway drum. He looked to Lyndon, who was standing right next to him, one eye right up against the corner of the parchment. "Do you see it too?" asked Power Dog. He wasn't sure of the extent of Lyndon's differences or disabilities, but he knew they experienced the world differently than he himself did. "I do, and I think I hear it. And, kind of weirdly, I also feel like I can taste it without even licking it," Lyndon replied. "Interesting," mused the professor as he too peered over the map. Roger's voice dropped to a whisper as he examined the map closely. "The tree tongue map is somewhat readable to me, as I see the outlines of Question Mark Mountain. Look here, is this a path that leads both up and down, along the mountain's side ridge, and all the way through the blue starlit forest?" "Ooh, that looks like the path near the Singing Creek," said Lisa Ann. "And look, that squiggly line, that might go right past where the road to town is. That's where we first met Morty," Annalise added, her voice bubbling with recognition and hope as everyone got as close as they could get. Lyndon stepped carefully, their paws tapping against the unfamiliar floor and brushing against the table leg. "I'm excited to help," they said with a fearless grin. "This sounds like the kind of adventure that's worth covering new ground." Snowspeeder's tail wagged, "And I promise to give the best trail descriptions this side of Doglaska." The group stayed up quite late, comparing notes and sharing knowledge, with the grown-ups continuing after all of the younglings fell asleep in a big puppy pile in front of the fireplace. When Power Dog protested going to bed through his sleepy eyes, his father assured him that all would be shared again the next day during their trek out to the blue starlit forest. They had enough information to start making more concrete plans, and this was giving everyone a great sense of hope. Surely answers would come very soon. Later that night, the apartment, like the entire city of Lictopolis, had finally gone still. The fire crackled low, casting shadows that danced gently on the walls. Most of the pups were curled up together, snoring softly. Power Dog stirred in his sleep and blinked one eye open. Through the dim light, he could see Dogwings and Roger at the table, speaking in hushed tones. A single candle flickered between them, casting their faces in warm gold and deep shadow. Roger tapped the tree tongue map gently with one claw, and Dogwing's brow furrowed as he listened. Power Dog couldn't make out the words, but something in the way they leaned in, shoulders close, voices low, told him what they were discussing was serious, maybe even a little bit scary. He felt that prickle of worry return, and then he remembered to talk back. "These are grown-ups I trust," he reminded himself. He clutched the worry stone softly in his paw, and remembering he was actually quite exhausted, he let his eyes close again. Power Dog found himself once again whisked into a dream. Even in his dreaming state, though, he was aware of a sense of fear over returning to the dream he'd been dreaming over and over and over again for months. But this time, there was no boat, no sea, just a shimmer, an odd shimmer that grew and grew and grew until it swallowed him whole. He opened his eyes to find himself standing beneath an impossibly tall tree, and not any tree he recognized. The tree was glowing with bark that pulsed like twinkling starlight. Their leaves shifted color with every soft breeze, singing with tones he could see. Green was a low hum. Gold was the ding of a faraway bell. Blue was a whispering woodwind. He looked up and up and up, and he felt that he knew this was absolutely and without a doubt the great, great tree. Power Dog stepped closer, and the bark rippled with symbols that hovered in the air, forming words he couldn't read, until he heard Lyndon's voice echo behind him. "Let the sounds show you. You have always seen the language of sounds. You know their meanings." Power Dog blinked, and suddenly Lyndon was right beside him, paws on the tree, eyes closed, listening and sniffing, with their face as close as possible to the bark. The symbols danced and began to swirl around them both, forming a spiral that opened like a tunnel of music and light and colors. "Let's go!" hollered Lyndon with a wide and eager grin, and into the spiral Lyndon fearlessly leaped. Power Dog blinked and watched in disbelief. He looked over his shoulder and wondered aloud, "Wait, where really am I? Where am I now?" The tunnel ahead looked so mysterious, and he felt frightened and shocked that Lyndon had shown no fear at all. The tunnel seemed to be getting smaller. He hesitated for just a beat before sucking in a breath and leaping in. As he passed through the tunnel, which turned out to be much shorter than it had appeared, everything changed. Now he was side by side with Lyndon again, and they were both flying through a massive, ancient forest under bright, glittering starlight. Trees glowed faintly with electric blue and violet outlines, their topmost branches high as mountain peaks. Power Dog had a cape again, golden this time, and he flew with paws outstretched, guided by wind that felt warm. The thermals in the air tickled their furry bellies. He felt good, brave, confident, until the wind changed. A ripping sound echoed behind them, and the stars above blinked out one by one as a great shadow rose. From the dark came giant winged shapes. At first, Power Dog's heart pounded in his ears, and his throat felt immediately dry and even pained. His breath hitched. But these giant winged shapes were shadows, and they were shadows of sky puppies. They were bright and beautiful, with dark velvety fur like the night sky. Their wings shimmered like silky curtains, and their backs held golden woven baskets of glowing leaves and tiny glowing golden cones, just like his cone, but smaller. One of the bats flew very near to the dogs. They opened their mouth, but no words came. Instead, a pure sound poured out, a tone so deep and full and musical that Power Dog felt it in his bones. And he saw it too, a jumble of glowing symbols pulsing in the air, in the middle of this golden sound that he could see. He felt in his heart that they were tree tongue symbols, like on the map. And he understood them when they all fell into position together. He understood them to read, "Portal trees hold the keys." Suddenly, everything was changing too fast. The symbols disappeared. The images, sounds, and colors. A familiar ruby red shimmer. The namer, a cage, a net. That feeling of being trapped. All went blurring by. He cried out, "No!" But this time, a giant warm wing wrapped around him like a soft blanket. "You are not alone," said a voice soft as moss but strong as stone. Power Dog woke with a gasp, paws gripping his blanket like a rope. His heart was pounding. He looked around the quiet room. The candle had been put out. Everyone was safe. He was safe. He held his worry stone in his paws and took a big, deep breath. "One thing at a time," he whispered to himself before closing his eyes again. He was still so tired, and he didn't want to be awake or asleep, so he just started counting his breaths until he drifted off again. In the late morning, the sun glinted off rooftops and dew-kissed leaves. Everyone was fed, kitted out with gear, and waiting in front of Power Dog's apartment building. Tick-Tock Bunny had already taken the shuttle back up to the college moon, and now the small group of scholars waited. "What are we waiting for, Dad?" asked Power Dog. "How are we getting to the blue starlit forest?" Dogwings' face broke into a broad smile just as a soft whirring noise, smooth and steady, grew from above. Not loud, but a deep thrumming hum like the wings of a giant dragonfly. Trees along the avenue shimmied and rippled ever so slightly as a sleek, glimmering craft descended. Its long, curved blades spun in perfect harmony, parting the air with such grace that barely a single tail tuft was ruffled out of place. "Whoa," whispered Tuffy. Power Dog's eyes lit up. I think it's the new presidential business copter." The craft touched down in the middle of the road. Its frame shimmered with iridescent green and gold tones like beetle shells, and its door slid open. The scents of new vehicle and peanut butter biscuits wafted out as President Bernie Sandals emerged. His aviator goggles perched proudly above his eyes, his deep blue velvet vest catching the morning light. "Hello, dogs and Roger," boomed Bernie with his usual grand warmth. "A certain geohistorian told me you could all use a lift." He winked at Dogwings, who chuckled and gave a grateful nod. The president sauntered forward with an easy tail-swaying confidence. "I'll fly you myself," he added, "and we can swap mysteries in the sky." Snowspeeder let out a long whistle. "Now that's how you make an entrance. First class all the way," murmured Lisa Ann. Everyone laughed, and just like that, they were off. The smooth, dragonfly-like vehicle glided above Dogland, barely making a sound beyond a low melodic hum. Through the wide glass window walls and floor, Dogland unfolded below them, rivers glimmering like silver ribbons, trees waving in blues and greens, and cloud puffs casting slow-moving shadows over the hills. Broad glass windows curved overhead as well, giving everyone a full view of the sky, clouds, and floating moons. Power Dog wondered if they might even spot a cloud dragon or two along the way. He pressed his nose to the glass. "Look, there! I already see Question Mark Mountain. We'll be there so soon," added Snowspeeder, pointing with his nose. "This thing flies better than any sled I've ever even dreamed of." Lyndon sat silently, eyes closed, the shifting light creating ripples of color across their golden fur. Everyone was quiet for a beat, caught in the beauty of the moment. Even President Sandals seemed content to let the calm stretch. "Ahem. Then Roger cleared his throat, sharing a nod and eye contact with Dogwings. "It is time for me to tell you all about Tatooine and the direct link with the Allura files on Meowie," he said as Dogwings echoed the solemn nod. Power Dog turned, ears twitching. "Tatooine?" Roger nodded slowly. "Yes, the world I hail from, a world of cats, a world I had to leave with great sadness in my heart. I left on a mission to track down the first cats to create mischief and trouble for the dogs of Dogland. And they've been doing that for far too long. Are they the ones that trapped you in statue mode? Asked Power Dog. Yes, Roger nodded. There were 3 of them on Tatooine in the early days, 3 who didn't use names. They believe everything is a resource to be used up. They don't believe in harmony and balance like the dogs of Dogland do. Everyone stared at Roger blankly. What I mean is that they believe that they must take whatever they need and want to survive and thrive, and they don't give anything back. It could be food, shelter, energy, and any other resources. They all nodded, and Power Dog thought to himself, this whole concept made no sense. How could you even take without leaving something behind in the wake of the take? Wouldn't that just leave like a big hole? Dogwings searched all the young faces and chimed in. You see, it's a really confusing idea because everything in our lives and world works with a different concept called reciprocity, and that's where we get our sense of balance and connection. Tuffy lit up like a light bulb and said, yes, because we are all connected at our roots and rooted in our connection. They all smiled and nodded in recognition and the comfort it brought them to hear it. Lisa Ann and Annalise huddled closer together and held each other's paws while Roger continued. Listen, this group of cats, they destroyed much of the ancient forests on Tatooine until they were banished to one of our moons. And on that moon, they continued their greedy taking ways, and they learned to call to more cats to come to the moon. They learned that they could prey on anxiety and fear to make others interested in also taking without giving back. After much time had passed, they'd called to and manipulated many more cats, as well as dragons, galactic cows, and pretty much any other creature that could provide means of interstellar transportation so that they could find and take more resources and more energy from other worlds. They were obsessed with always finding more and expanding far beyond their home world. Their success made them feel that they were the ones making the better choices than the cats on Tatooine, and they convinced many to follow them, teaching them dark magic and enchantments to reward them for complete and total devotion. In the end, they have created a massive cult of greed. Power Dog felt the green jasper stone at his chest as if trying to steady himself. I faced them once, Roger continued, eyes distant. Only once. Barely escaped with my mind intact. A younger cat might have crumbled, but I got out. And thanks to you for breaking their statue mode enchantment, I will be ready to face them again. They use fear to gain power, and they will find no fear in me. What do they want from us? Asked Lyndon, voice low. They want our tree, Power Dog murmured, a chill running down his spine, and the longing for the golden cone thrumming in his chest. Roger nodded. Not just yours, all of them. They want them all. Trees are not alive to them. They are simply resources to plunder, giant scratching posts to shred, and timber to burn. Bernie Sandals adjusted the controls, the iridescent light playing across his broad face and goggles. Well, he said, they'll have to go through us first, and maybe we'll teach them a thing or two while we're at it. Below them, the blue starlit forest shimmered into view on the horizon, its canopy glowing faintly, already waiting. And somewhere, deep inside that forest, the next piece of the puzzle waited. That's it for today's episode. Thanks for joining us. Now I'm joined by my kid co-author, Hank. Hi, Hank.
Hi!
Okay, do you got a joke for me?
Why, yes, of course. Why did the mean cat get banned from the dog park?
I don't know. Why?
Too many personal fouls and not enough sharing.
All right, you got another one?
Of course. I always have another one. What did the alien say to the cat?
What?
Take me to your litter.
Okay.
How about one more?
Sure.
Oh, why was the cat afraid of the tree?
Why?
Because of its big bark.
Thank you, listeners. If you liked what you heard, you can see more content at our website, PowerDogAdventures, all one word.com. And we'll be forever grateful if you feel like telling your friends about the show, too. If you are looking for more great shows, then please check out the other members of Kids Listen, a grassroots organization dedicated to high-quality audio for kids and families. There are well over 100 great shows to find there. Ask your grown-up to check out kidslisten.org to find out more. Special thanks to our creative partner, the inimitable Jason Rourke, who makes these stories sound extra good with his wise counsel, recording, sound design, and even original music. This podcast has been made possible in part by funding provided by the Regional Arts and Culture Council in Portland, Oregon. Thank you, RAC. It has been made even more possible by listeners like you. Thank you so much for your support. We are not joking even a little when we say we could not do this without you. The Adventures of Power Dog and Dogland is created in the ancestral lands of the Cowlitz, Multnomah, Kathlamet, Clackamas, Tumwater, Tualatin Kalapuya, Wasco, Molalla, Watlala, bands of the Chinook, and other indigenous nations and tribes of the first people who made their homes along the rivers here in what is now called Portland, Oregon. And special thanks to our own Granny and Gramps who helped us write and record our Power Dog theme song. Hey, Granny and Gramps, what key did y'all say that's in?
It's in D for Dogland. Till they're done. Power dog, he won't give up. When we're chasing danger and we're riding across the seas, sure he's right there leading us up, barking with the seals. Power dog, he won't give up. Power dog, he won't give up. Chases problems till they're done. Power dog, he won't give up. When we're chasing trouble and we're riding across the stars, sure he's right there beside us, just holding our paws. Power dog, he won't give up. Power dog, he won't give up. Chases problems till they're done. Power dog, he won't give up. When we're chasing trouble and we're zooming through the stars, sure he's right there beside us, just a zapping near and far. Power dog, he won't give up. Power dog, he won't give up. Chases problems till they're done. Power dog, he won't give up. When we're plugging a volcano or we're straddling a storm, Power dog is right beside us at every little turn. Power dog, he won't give up. Power dog, he won't give up. Chases problems till they're done. Power dog, he won't give up. At night his fennec foxes, in the days his platypuses. We herd them up and whoop them down. Our dog's right beside us. Come with me to Dogland, we've got special tales to tell. And when we come together, all our tails will wag as well. So come with me to Dogland, we've got special tales to tell. And when we come together, all our tails will wag as well. Woof, woof, wow.